What if the most dangerous thing about high blood pressure isn't the pressure itself? It's that most people believe it has one cause and one solution. I want to ask you something that I ask every new patient who walks into my office. I ask them to describe, in their own words, what they think is causing their high blood pressure. And almost every single time, I get one of two answers. They say, "My heart is pumping too hard," or "There's something wrong with my arteries." Both of those answers contain a piece of truth, but high blood pressure is not a single-cause condition. It is what we call a multifactorial disease, meaning it involves the heart, yes, but also the blood vessels, the kidneys, the nervous system, hormonal signals, and in many cases, genetic predisposition working quietly in the background. All of these systems interact, and all of them can contribute. That complexity is not a reason for despair. It is actually a reason for hope. Because when a condition has multiple contributing causes, there are also multiple points of intervention. And some of the most accessible ones happen to be sitting in your kitchen. I'm Dr. Ava Collins, and over my years in preventive cardiovascular medicine, the most powerful conversations I have had with patients are not about adjusting prescriptions. They are about understanding the biology and about 5 specific ordinary foods that can support that biology in measurable ways, working alongside the medical treatment your doctor has already prescribed. That word, alongside, matters enormously. I'll come back to it repeatedly today. But first, I need to give you a biology foundation, because what I'm about to explain about your blood vessels will make every food on this list make immediate sense. Let me start with the blood vessels, specifically with the most important tissue in your entire cardiovascular system that you have almost certainly never thought about. The inner lining of every blood vessel in your body is called the endothelium. It is a single layer of cells, one cell thick, lining the interior wall of every artery, vein, and capillary from your heart to your fingertips. That single cell thick layer is so thin that you could stack 1,000 of them and barely see it with the naked eye. And yet, it is one of the most metabolically active tissues in the human body. Its most critical job for our purposes today is producing a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide signals the muscular walls surrounding your arteries to relax and expand. When those walls relax, the diameter of the vessel increases slightly. More diameter means less resistance against blood flow. Less resistance means lower pressure. Your heart does less work. The numbers on your monitor reflect that. When those walls relax, the diameter of the vessel increases slightly. More diameter means less resistance against blood flow. Less resistance means lower pressure. Your heart does less work. The numbers on your monitor reflect that. Now, blood pressure is governed by more than just the blood vessels. The kidneys regulate fluid and sodium balance, directly influencing blood volume and therefore pressure. The nervous system controls the speed and intensity of the heart's contractions. Hormones, particularly the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, orchestrate a complex cascade that tightens or loosens your vascular tone in response to signals from multiple organs simultaneously. And all of this can be further shaped by what you inherited genetically. This is why blood pressure management is never as simple as one pill or one food. It is the coordination of many systems. But here is what is remarkable. The endothelium, that one cell thick lining, sits at the intersection of almost all of these pathways. It is responsive to hormonal signals. It communicates with the nervous system. It is influenced by the kidney's regulation of fluid and salt. And it can be meaningfully supported or damaged by what you eat. After 60, endothelial function naturally declines. Less nitric oxide is produced, inflammation accumulates, arterial walls stiffen, and this happens gradually, invisibly, until the numbers at your next appointment reflect what has been quietly building. But here is the critical point. The endothelium is living tissue. Under the right nutritional conditions, it is capable of measurable improvement, not as a replacement for medical treatment, but as a meaningful partner to it. The 5 foods I'm about to show you work primarily on that endothelium. They support nitric oxide production, reduce vascular inflammation, and help address some of the hormonal and mineral imbalances that contribute to elevated pressure. Think of them as reinforcement, not replacement. Stay with me, because the first one on this list produces results that even surprised me the first time I reviewed the data. When was the last time you ate a beet? If you're like most of my patients, the answer ranges somewhere between rarely and never since I was a child. And I understand that completely. Beets are earthy. They stain everything. They're easy to overlook in a produce aisle full of more familiar options. But in terms of documented clinical evidence for blood pressure support in adults over 60, beetroot belongs at the very top of this list. Here is the mechanism. Beetroot is extraordinarily rich in dietary nitrate, not the synthetic nitrate found in processed meats, which is a separate and problematic thing, but the natural organic dietary nitrate your body was designed to process. When you eat beetroot, bacteria naturally present in your saliva begin converting that nitrate into a compound called nitrite. Then, in the slightly acidic environment of your stomach, that nitrite converts into nitric oxide, the exact same molecule your endothelium is producing less of with each passing year. You are giving your arterial lining a biochemical assist, a backup source of the molecule it needs most. A landmark clinical study had participants with elevated blood pressure consume roughly 1 cup of beetroot juice daily. Within 24 hours, systolic blood pressure dropped by nearly 8 points on average. After 4 weeks of consistent consumption, the reduction held and arterial stiffness measurably decreased, 8 points in 24 hours. As a complementary dietary intervention, that is a significant number. You don't have to drink it straight. Roasted beets work well. Grated raw into a salad, blended with ginger and apple into something you actually look forward to. A splash of citrus or carrot juice softens the earthiness considerably. One thing to know, beetroot can temporarily turn your urine or stool pink or red, a harmless effect of the pigment called bacteria. Mention it to patients before they see it and save everyone an alarmed phone call. Start with beetroot 2 or 3 times this week and work toward daily. Your endothelium will notice. Speaking of the endothelium, the next food on this list works through a completely different pathway, involving a mineral deficiency that affects up to 70% of adults over 60 and remains almost entirely absent from routine blood pressure conversations. You have heard that leafy greens are healthy so many times that it has become background noise. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, yes, everyone knows. Eat your greens. So let me give you something specific, a precise biochemical reason why cooked leafy greens matter for blood pressure that you have almost certainly never given in a clinical setting. Leafy greens are among the richest sources of dietary magnesium in the entire food supply. And magnesium's role in blood pressure regulation is one of the most underappreciated stories in all of cardiovascular medicine. Every time a smooth muscle cell in your artery wall contracts or relaxes, that movement is governed by a balance between 2 minerals. Calcium drives contraction. Magnesium drives relaxation. When that balance is maintained, your arterial walls cycle between appropriate tension and appropriate release. When magnesium is insufficient, and studies suggest this is extremely common in adults over 60 in Western countries, the balance tips towards sustained contraction, more resistance, higher pressure, a heart doing more work than the situation requires. A comprehensive review of 34 clinical studies found that restoring magnesium levels reduced systolic blood pressure by 3 to 4 points and diastolic by 2 to 3 points, again, as part of a broader management approach, not as a standalone fix. Now, here is the detail that most people miss. Raw, leafy greens, even in generous amounts, have limited magnesium bioavailability because of a compound called oxalic acid. Brief cooking, steaming, a quick sauté, breaks that compound down and liberates the magnesium for absorption. You need approximately 2 cups of cooked leafy greens daily to meaningfully move the needle on magnesium status. One of my patients, a retired teacher I'll call Margaret, was convinced she was eating well. She had a large raw salad every single day. Her magnesium levels were consistently below optimal range. We added 2 cups of wilted spinach to her dinner each night, just that one change, and within 6 weeks, both her blood pressure and her sleep quality improved. Magnesium also governs sleep architecture. 2 meaningful outcomes from one small, consistent decision. 2 cups of cooked greens at dinner every night. That is not a lifestyle overhaul. That is a single decision made at the stove. Now, before I get to food 3, I want you to know that what's coming is the food on this list whose science surprised me the most when I first encountered it. Because what the research shows isn't just lower numbers, it's something structural happening inside the arterial walls themselves. Before we go further, I want to pause for just a moment. If what you've heard in the last 5 minutes feels like a conversation you should have had years ago, if the endothelium, the nitric oxide pathway, the magnesium balance inside your arterial walls, if none of this was part of your blood pressure education before today, then I want you to know that this is exactly what the Eternal Vigor Way is built to give you. Every week, I bring you this kind of evidence-based, mechanism-first information. Not trends, not supplements dressed up as miracles. Biology, translated into decisions you can make at the dinner table in partnership with the care you're already receiving. If that is what you want more of, hit subscribe right now. It costs nothing, takes 1 second, and ensures the next piece of this conversation finds you before it passes you by. Now, food 3. Pomegranate has been used medicinally across multiple cultures for thousands of years. What those cultures understood intuitively, modern molecular research is now confirming with precision. Pomegranate contains one of the highest concentrations of a compound called punicalagin found in any comprehensively studied food. And punicalagin behaves at the biochemical level as a natural ACE-supporting agent. ACE stands for angiotensin-converting enzyme. This enzyme is part of the hormonal cascade I mentioned earlier, the renin-angiotensin system, which plays a central role in regulating blood vessel tone and fluid balance. When this enzyme is overactive, it triggers a sequence that causes blood vessels to constrict and blood volume to rise. An entire class of widely prescribed blood pressure medications, those whose names end in pril, lisinopril, ramipril, are designed to moderate this enzyme's activity, and punicalagin in pomegranate works along a similar biological pathway. But I want to be precise here, because this matters. Pomegranate is not a replacement for ACE inhibitor medications. It is a dietary companion to the same system those medications target. Think of it as working in the same direction, supporting better vascular tone through the same hormonal pathway, not as a substitute for your prescription. Fruit and food in general, no matter how well studied, are helpers to medication, not replacements for it. With that clearly established, a study published in the journal Atherosclerosis followed patients with significant arterial narrowing who consumed pomegranate juice daily for 1 year. Their blood pressure decreased, and more remarkably, the thickness of arterial plaque in the carotid arteries actually reduced by over 30%. Plaque that had been accumulating for years began measurably to recede. Structural improvement in the arterial wall itself from a food used consistently over time alongside medical treatment. Practical use, half a fresh pomegranate daily, or around 150 milliliters of pure pomegranate juice with no added sugar. It mixes well with sparkling water for daily palatability. Important caution: because pomegranate works along the same pathway as ACE inhibitor medications, if you are currently prescribed one, please discuss adding pomegranate regularly with your physician first. The goal is well-managed, coordinated care, not an inadvertent overcorrection. I know the reaction this one produces. I'll address it directly. Sardines. Specifically sardines, not salmon, not tuna, not a general recommendation to eat more fish. Sardines. And here is precisely why. After 60, one of the central drivers of rising systolic blood pressure is arterial stiffness. Not just narrowing of the vessels, physical stiffness of the walls themselves. Arteries that have lost their elastic recoil function more like rigid pipes than flexible tubes. The heart must generate significantly more force to push blood through a stiff arterial system, and that extra force registers directly in your systolic reading. So why sardines specifically? 3 reasons. First, sardines are eaten whole with their small, soft, edible bones, making them one of the richest sources of bioavailable calcium in the food supply in a form that supports both skeletal and vascular health. Second, because sardines are small, short-lived, and eat plankton rather than other fish, they accumulate almost no mercury, unlike large predatory fish, which concentrate toxins as they move up the food chain. This is critical for anyone eating fish multiple times per week. Third, a single 100-gram serving of sardines delivers over 1,500 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA. The cardiovascular therapeutic target in most research is 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily. One small tin covers that entirely. A study in the American Journal of Hypertension found that regular consumption of EPA and DHA-rich fish reduced systolic blood pressure by 4 to 5 points on average in people with hypertension, with greater effects in older adults and those with higher baseline pressure. 2 to 3 servings per week. Start with 1, prepared in a way that works for you. On whole grain crackers with mustard and cucumber, mashed onto toast with lemon, stirred into a tomato sauce over pasta. Think of them as a flavor ingredient rather than a centerpiece, and they become genuinely versatile. And now, Food 5. I promised you the one that reframes everything. Here it is, and the mechanism behind it will completely change how you understand what your blood vessel lining is capable of doing. And now, Food 5. I promised you the one that reframes everything. Here it is, and the mechanism behind it will completely change how you understand what your blood vessel lining is capable of doing. Dark chocolate. Before you smile and assume this is the feel-good, permissive ending to a health list, I want to be very precise about what I'm telling you. This is one of the most clinically studied foods in all of cardiovascular nutrition, with over 140 randomized controlled trials examining its effects. More trial data than many pharmaceutical compounds accumulate before regulatory approval. The active compounds are called cocoflavanols. The most relevant among them is a molecule called epicatechin. And what epicatechin does is fundamentally different from everything else on this list. Beetroot supplies nitric oxide precursors through the dietary nitrate pathway. Leafy greens restore the mineral balance that allows arterial muscles to relax. Pomegranate supports the hormonal pathway that regulates vascular tone. Sardines reduce the physical stiffness of the arterial wall. Epicatechin does something at a deeper level. It activates the enzyme inside your endothelial cells that produces nitric oxide, the enzyme called ENOS, endothelial nitric oxide synthase. It doesn't supply the ingredient. It makes the factory itself more capable. It enhances your endothelium's own capacity to generate its protective molecule. A major meta-analysis reviewing 19 randomized controlled trials found that regular cocoflavanol consumption reduced systolic blood pressure by 2 to 3 points and diastolic by 1 to 2. At a population level, a sustained 2-point reduction in systolic pressure is associated with a decrease in stroke-related mortality. Every consistent, well-managed point matters. The critical detail: the chocolate must be dark. 70% cocoa minimum, 85% or higher is better. Milk chocolate contains too much sugar and dairy, which largely neutralizes the flavanols. Dutch processed cocoa has been alkaline treated, which destroys a significant portion of the active compounds. You want minimally processed, high-percentage dark chocolate, where cocoa or cacao appears first on the ingredient label. The dose used in most research, 10 to 20 grams per day, 2 to 3 squares of a standard bar, not a license to eat chocolate freely, a specific, modest daily amount that delivers meaningful flavanol content without a meaningful calorie or sugar burden. 2 squares of 85% dark chocolate after dinner, not a reward. Nutritional medicine, working alongside everything else your cardiovascular system is receiving. Before I bring all 5 together, one more thing I want to say to you directly. If you have spent years sitting in waiting rooms, adjusting medications, watching numbers on a home monitor, and feeling like you were only ever reacting to a condition rather than truly understanding what drives it, I want you to know that this channel exists specifically to close that gap. The Eternal Vigor Way is not about shortcuts or false promises. It is about the biology your body is running right now. The endothelium, the hormonal cascades, the minerals and molecules that determine what your arteries do every hour of every day, and the evidence-backed, medically honest decisions you can make to support that biology every single week. If today felt like the conversation you have been waiting to have, subscribe and share this with someone whose health deserves this level of information. The people who benefit most from evidence like this are the ones who never encounter it until someone who cares about them puts it in front of them. Now, your 5-food action plan. Let me bring this together clearly. Blood pressure is a multifactorial condition. It involves your heart, your blood vessels, your kidneys, your nervous system, your hormones, and your genetics. No single food addresses all of those systems simultaneously. No food replaces medication. What food can do, consistently, meaningfully, based on solid evidence, is support the biology that your prescribed treatment is already working to improve. These 5 foods each target a different part of that biology. Beetroot delivers dietary nitrate that converts into nitric oxide, giving your endothelium a biochemical assist within hours of consumption. Cooked dark leafy greens restore the magnesium balance that allows your arterial walls to relax rather than stay in sustained contraction. Pomegranate, through its punicalagin content, supports the same hormonal pathway that ACE inhibitor medications address. As a complement to that treatment, not a substitute for it, sardines deliver preformed EPA and DHA that reduce arterial stiffness at the vascular level with low mercury risk and high bioavailability. And dark chocolate, at 10 to 20 grams of 70% or higher daily, activates the enzyme inside your endothelial cells that produces nitric oxide, making your arterial lining more capable of doing its own protective work. 5 foods, 5 mechanisms, all working alongside your medical care, not in place of it. Here is what I want you to do before you close this video. Open a note on your phone. Write down just one of these 5, the one that feels most accessible, the one that requires the smallest adjustment to what you already cook or buy. Not all 5. 1. This week, add that one. Next week, add another. By the end of the month, all 5 are in rotation. Not because you overhauled your life, but because you made one small, specific, consistent decision at a time. Your endothelium is living tissue. Every meal is either a step toward better function or a step in the other direction. Tonight you have the information to choose a different step. Start with one food on this list, make it this week, and come back to the comments to tell me which one surprised you most and which one you're trying first. Take care of those arteries. Quietly, every hour of every day, they are keeping you alive. Give them something worth working with. Everything shared in this video represents general health education based on current peer-reviewed cardiovascular research and clinical experience in preventive medicine. It is not a substitute for individualized medical advice. The foods discussed in this video are dietary complements to prescribed medical treatment. They are not replacements for any medication your physician has recommended. Please do not adjust, reduce, or discontinue any prescribed medication without first consulting your doctor. Bring this information to your next appointment and work with your medical team to make decisions that are right for your specific situation. The best outcomes I have seen come from patients who are engaged, informed, and in close partnership with their care providers, be that patient. New evidence-based videos every week on the Eternal Vigor Way. Subscribe and share this with someone whose heart deserves better information.